Ah, hello. Well, today I wanted to talk a little bit about atheist family values. And here to help me talk about that is Chirpa, my Quaker parrot. Hmm. Thanks, Chirps. Oh my goodness. Hmm. She's so attentive. Anyway, what are atheist family values? Well, they're basically human family values or common family values. Family values that come from genetics and socialization, which is where we get our morals from. Why don't we get morals from a certain god or a certain religion? Well, because when you examine some religions, especially the more conservative ones, or religions, or the more literalist ones, you find that there's a lot of things in them that are really not moral. And so, as I've seen what these people are doing and what they've done, I've thought to myself, why is it that I, as an atheist, have better morals than the God of the Old Testament, or the God of the literalist believer, or the God of the Pope who allows his priests to rape and mass children worldwide? That's not very moral. And so, anyway, so in some cases it really takes a religion to subvert people's natural morality into things like accepting that their God can define what would otherwise normally be considered abhorrent morality, like accepting mass child rape as just a normal matter of course, and it's just something we have to accept in God's church, right? Well, that's what religion and social pressure to believe can do. So, but there's other issues, and that it's a little bit more complicated, and that, well, for example, from the 60s and 70s, that whole culture and the liberal culture of today, and I'm speaking about this as a socialist myself, basically it's my view that if kids were taught that because of if they were taught about the evils of overpopulation and things like that, if that translated into them not wanting to have kids as a result, I think that that view was really abusive. And so I think that they were, yes, you can make contributions by other ways, write a book, become a great artist or scientist, or you can help the families of others, of your siblings maybe, or of a stranger you can help out, or you can adopt, or do something. But um, but yeah, and I don't think I drew this view from my own past religious history. It was just observing how, in my own extended family, the people who had no kids and who spent their lives as essentially drunk bums, they, in the long term, they are zeros. In fact, maybe even worse than zeros. They were essentially a drag on humanity, and maybe it would have been better that they would have never been born, because they were just a waste. So the bottom line is, I think that people should do something meaningful with their lives and not just spend all their time obsessing about petty things. Who's going to give a crap that you were alive in 100 years? And if you don't care, then so be it. But and there's longer term issues as well. For example, my mother died last year, and in 2010, and I gave the funeral for that. I gave a talk at her funeral, and I wanted to read some of that. So here's what a part of what I said toward the end at my mother's funeral. I said, "As far as I can tell, relative to our position in the universe, we're rather like some moss growing on the top of a mountain. As moss, we're very intelligent, and maybe someday, being the smart green moss that we are, maybe we'll find a way to extract ourselves from the mountaintop. But in a few years, our lone peak, which is the only place we can live, is going to get scorched. And we happen to be so smart, in fact, that we have predicted the future scorching. If we are very lucky and smart indeed, our science and technology may save us, or perhaps we'll fade away to dust like most life has on the mountain. It's either the sky god or the volcano god or the real truth about our rather humble state. Noble and beautiful, yes, but if we're going to make it in the long term, at least a few of us have to take a longer view. There is no Christian Armageddon waiting, but in 500 million years our sun will be 10% brighter, thereby causing the oceans to boil off. So our descendants either need to re-engineer the sun by then, or get us off this rock. And we've only known about this for 10 years or so. And there's other huge risks to our survival. What we teach our children about science may save humanity. There's no heaven or hell, but that means we have an added responsibility to care for what we have here, to make this life here and now into a heaven or a hell. We are related to other animals. We are animals. And our morals come from a combination of genetics and socialization. Whether such a fact is good or bad, it doesn't matter. That's simply the way it is. Being concerned about legacy is an issue. Who will care that you lived in 100 years? Make a contribution. Be a great artist or a great scientist or have kids. And if you have kids, teach them the value of cutting-edge art and science and the value of taking the proverbial red pill, as from the film The Matrix. And so that was one key message I shared during my mother's funeral last year in 2010. So anyway, the values and morals of an atheist are no different than the values of any other normal human who's interested in family and love, affection, and even what could be called spirituality, but without the supernatural, mystical mumbo-jumbo. But spirituality nevertheless, deep feelings about awe about existence, beautiful sunsets, the touch of a lover, life, the beauty of existence, and wanting to help save this garden from being destroyed, and preserving it for the future, and finding and thinking about ways to not just worrying about petty things so much and trying to take a longer view. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little chat. about atheist family values. The bottom line is, don't be a bum, think about legacy, have a family. Having kids is a good thing, not a bad thing. And if you want to have 5 kids, 10 kids, boy howdy, good on you. If you want to have no kids, then at least do something else that is going to contribute to the survival of this garden, and not just stare at your own navel for your whole life and be a drunk bum. And maybe don't disparage so much people who do choose to have kids, because it's a damn hard job, and you're essentially being a leech on the rest of humanity if all you're going to do is stare at your navel for your whole life. So, all right. And that's all I have to say about that for now, for today. So, have fun and stay safe.